Billy Bragg has made a virtue of simplicity. By playing an intensive series of tours, usually in small clubs and pubs, he's built up a very large and loyal following. He's never released a single or made a video, yet his first LP, recorded in 3 days and with a marketing budget of £100, has already sold over 90,000 copies, and his latest EP, Between the Wars, has shot up the singles charts. All the more remarkable since he's that rarity, a committed singer whose songs and performances relate directly to his political views. Billy Bragg grew up in Essex, on the edge of London's East End. Earlier this year, we took him back there to look at his music, his style, and his beliefs.
This is a postcard from Mrs. Thatcher's Britain. This is called To Have and To Have Not. Up in the morning and out to school, mother says there'll be no work next year. Qualifications runs to golden rule, and now just pieces of paper. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because you're going forwards doesn't mean I'm going backwards.
Most of the songs I write are from personal experience, from things that I've come into contact with in my life, be it through the newspapers or through, living the part.
If you look the part, you'll get the job. In last year's trousers and your old school shoes. To be stuck, it's a buyer's market. I can't afford to pick and choose. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because I dress like this doesn't mean I'm a communist.
Songs work a lot better if you just don't bother having melodic parts. Just these are the lyrics, this is what I've got to say.
Factories are closing and the army's full. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've come to see in the land of the free there's only a future for the chosen few. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because you're going forwards doesn't mean I'm going backwards.
Well, this here guitar style, as they call it, I found when I started playing solo that I would have to get most of the percussion from the guitar, so I really play quite a very percussive guitar to put the rhythm out, especially on that song, and do the melody with my vocals. Now, the style of it, I suppose, comes from listening to old blues records. I wouldn't claim to play the blues in any shape or form, but there's a direct line from what they were doing to what I'm doing now. It goes back a long way of communicating ideas to people. John Lee Hooker, of all the blues players, was the one that I think I learnt the most of just by listening to his solo stuff, and the emotion that he gets out of just one man and his voice was, pointed away to me that you don't have to hide behind banks or synthesizers, and you don't need the London Symphony Orchestra to make a mood for you. You can just do it with a bit of, if you think about it.
There you go. Bragg European tour. Here we go again. All in. Rock and roll is on the road again.
Start standing whopping, ain't the stopping. bypass Barking and straight through Dagenham down to Grace, Burrock, Romney and Basildon. Bitsy, Bundesley, Adley, Little Say, well, Whittlewell, South End's the end of you. Ever go, assuming this. Take the A road, the OK road, that's the best. So motoring on the A30 Wiggy, yeah.
This area here on the A13 is where I grew up in, but the A13 has become from an industrial wasteland to just a wasteland full stop now. It seems to be one long dump down here with caravans and old cars on the side of the road. The actual song is based on Route 66, all those places, Amarillo and Gallup, New Mexico. We all take it for granted that they're really ace places to be, you know, because they're in, you know, they're in America in that song, but they could be just as, you know, just as average as Basildon and Grace Fork. You know, we don't know for certain that they're great places. And I just thought it'd, you know, it's that kind of daft song as well, where, you know, you wouldn't think of driving up and down this road as anything to do with that kind of Bruce Springsteen American dream, but young men, the boy racers as we call them, in their Ford Capris, this is where they do all their, you know, charging up and down on a Saturday night, storming down to Rayleigh or Canvey Island to wear shorts, get drunk and have fights. You know, it is sort of got that mythological vibe for me. There aren't any other really big roads around.
Motoring on the A13.
Yeah, well, we're on a piece of barren no man's land here between the River Thames and the A13 that's owned by the Central Electricity Generating Board, where they plant their pylons and send lots of power down the river to Fords at Dagenham. And further on, just behind me here, we have the Barking Container Depot, and there, just in the distance, I think you can see Fords itself. Those towers over there are Ford's main plant. They came here in the 30s and have since saved the entire area from falling into the river. And as a youth, part of our career training, in fact all of our career training, was a once-a-year trip round the main plant at Fords, which was horrifying to describe the noise and the heat in places, and the people who worked there just seemed like a load of zombies. I can remember the career master saying to me, well, what do you want to do at Fords? And if you didn't want to go to Fords, well, there's the Army or the Navy or the Air Force. I'd always had this urge to drive tanks. And the more closer it came to me being inducted, the less I wanted to really, you know, thought of it as a career. But in the end, I decided I didn't have anything to lose, so I might as well go and see what it was like. And that's exactly what I did. I went and saw what it was like.
This is a song about war, the Falklands War, and the soldiers that fought it. Not the ones who came home heroes, but the ones who came home in tears. This is called The Island of No Return. Digging all day and digging all night to keep my foxhole out of sight. Digging into dinner on a plate on my knees. I smell a damp webbing in the morning breeze. Fear in my stomach, fear in the sky. I eat my dinner with a weary eye. I thought it won't be the same, messing around on Salisbury Plain. Pick up your feet, fall in, move out. We're going to a party way down South Meander, Corporal out on a spree. Damned from here to eternity. I can already taste the blood in my mouth. We're going to a party way down south.
I was in the army a year before the Falklands happened, but seeing it all on TV, I felt very strongly about the soldiers on the ground there, and felt I could understand a little of how they might feel. The biggest sadness of that war was on HMS Sheffield. The Exocet went into the galley where, you know, all the cooks were thrown into the sea there. They're people never ever consider that they were joining to fight a war. They're guys who are going there to get their career and see the world.
Me and the corporal out on a spree, and from here to eternity.
Billy Bragg's music has its roots in the long tradition of politically committed blues players and singer-songwriters.
Thank you.
But in style and approach, he's been heavily influenced by punk bands like The Clash, who combined raw energy with a down-to-earth attitude towards making music.
It was sort of a revelation, like The Clash singing Garage Land. You know, they just wanted to stay in the garage all night. Unfortunately, where I live, nobody had any garages, but we could still understand, you know, in the back rooms and in the upstairs of pubs where we rehearsed, we could still get, you know, the message was loud and clear that, that everything they told us about rock and roll, about making music since we were, you know, 10, all the way we were at school was wrong, was rubbish, in fact, and that you could, you know, you could do it yourself and be better. And that, though, you know, those ideals stay with me. I've never seen anything since to change those ideals.
Billy Bragg spent 3 years in a punk-inspired band, Riff Raff. But after his brief stint in the army, he took the surprising step of going solo.
People say to me, you know, don't you feel you're limited just playing a guitar? Wouldn't you like to expand onto other things? But you're only as limited as your imagination when you're playing the guitar. You know, you don't have to read music. You don't have to do it this way. If you can make the guitar sound like that, then go out and do it. You know, it's not something that is really to do with music at all. I don't class myself as a musician at all. You know, I'm a guitar player. I play the guitar. Anything else, I can't. You know, I can't knock out a tune on at all. But I can play the guitar. So that's what I do to the best of my abilities.
Lost a lot in the translation. When I think of all the time that I spent sitting on the end of your bed in anticipation of you giving in and us living in sin. A hot day, the smell of hairspray and the sound of a shower running softly. It sings like this, it reminds me how I felt the first time you came back for coffee.
When I'm writing love songs, I try to avoid as much as I can using the line, I love you, and looking at other ways that that sort of thing manifests itself accidentally.
Walking in the park, kissing in the dark, and my head against your pillow. Late at night a lover sings Adam and Eve are finding out all about love. I say Adam and Eve are finding out all about love.
I try and be as honest as I can in those songs because I grew up listening to other love singers. People like Smokey Robinson promised me that when I fell in love, everything would change and nothing would ever be bad again. You know, my entire life would be, from that day on, something special. And I found out, much to my chagrin, that this wasn't true. And it was a bit like finding out there's no Father Christmas. You know, I was really disappointed, and I felt that somehow I'd been cheated. Well, you know, why wasn't it like this? So. That didn't stop me listening to Smokey Robinson, but it did make me realise that, you know, there's a bit more to be explored in adult relationships, whether you're talking about love or sex.
walking in the park, kissing on the carpet, and your tights around your ankles. Late at night a lover thinks of these things. Adam and Eve are finding out all about Adam and Eve are finding out all about Teresa and Steve are finding out all about love. All about love. Oh, look out, prefab sprouts!
I'm doing something that's been done for years and years and years. Right, you know, there's always been the fella going around communicating ideas, which is how I started out, you know, on the trains, one guitar and the amp, and away we go. You know, it's a bigger scale thing now. It'd be stupid of me to still go around on the trains because British Rail, terrible timetables, terrible. I mean, now we've upgraded it a bit. We've got Pete Jenner's beaten up old Volvo, and which drives us around. But it's still basically about communicating ideas. The whole Billy Bragg thing is geared to the maximum amount of effort with the minimum amount of hype. There are other ways to do it. My name's Bill Bragg and I'm here this afternoon. I suppose you're wondering why I've gathered you here. Well, I'm here on an afternoon's promotion. I'd like to play some of the songs that have made my life all that more worth living. I was 21 years when I wrote this song. I'm 22 now, but I won't be for long. People ask me when will I grow up to be a man, but all the girls I loved in school are already pushing prams. Have you got anything good in the S's? Originally got the Porter stack made to go over to America to do the new music seminar and sort of, I suppose, out-American the Americans. It's a device, you know, we don't make singles, we don't make videos. We take as many opportunities as we can to get our ideas across to people, and it's just another facet of it. You know, you do videos as well now, do you? Videos, oh, very upmarket. The first World International Kung Fu Free Fight Championships, well, this is the stuff, isn't it? I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for a New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for a New England. I'm just looking for another girl. Yeah, there you go. Got some change for the bum boxes, please.
Billy Bragg's work rate is prodigious. In the past 12 months alone, he's played nearly 200 gigs around Britain, Europe and the States, many of them benefit concerts for the causes he believes in. He's just completed a tour on behalf of the Labour Party's campaign for jobs, and in particular, he's been an ardent supporter of the striking miners.
My job is fundraising. I normally go up to Corby Miner Support Group, and Billy himself come and did a gig down in Corby for us and raised us X amount of money, and in return I should like to have the pleasure of presenting him with this lamp.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you indeed. I appreciate that very much.
And we also...
Right.
Working men are once more in the front line in the struggle against a government that doesn't seem to care and doesn't want to care. For 1985, there's only one real question in people's minds as far as I'm concerned, and one decision to be made. Which side are you on? This government had an idea and Parliament made it law. It seems like it's illegal to fight for the union anymore. And which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? We set off to join the picket lines, for together we cannot fail. We got stopped by police at the county line. They said, go home, boys, or you'll go into jail. And which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?
Over a period of years, I've come to the conclusion that I'm a socialist. I believe fundamentally that the state should serve man and not vice versa. That's the basis of my political ideas. And from not being a particularly political person up till around 1979, when it was the first opportunity I had to vote, and I didn't even bother to vote, what I saw happen in this country with the first sort of stirrings of Thatcherism, made me start questioning myself and talk to other people about it and discuss ideas and look at the alternatives. What are the alternatives to this? And through that I became a socialist, which is bound to be reflected in my songs because they're part of me. And although I don't do all political songs or all love songs, you know, there's a mixture there. There's a tightrope to be walked, and people say that politics has nothing to do with music. This is rubbish. These are all people who stand on the edge of music and just want to wear the wacky clothes and have the funny haircut, because politics is life, as far as I'm concerned, and good music should reflect life, should reflect the society it comes from.
Well, I'm bound to follow my conscience, and I'll do whatever I can. But it'll take much more than a union law to knock the fight out of a working man. And which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?
The nation is being divided, and the struggle in the end boils down to whose voice is going to be heard in the end, whether it's going to be the authoritarian voice of Margaret Thatcher and her government, or if it's going to be the caring voice of socialism. And as far as I'm concerned, what little bit I can do here and there to make it the voice of socialism be heard, then that's what I'll carry on doing.
I was a miner, I was a docker, I was a railwayman between the wars. I raised a family in time of austerity with sweat at the foundry between the wars. I paid the union, and as times got harder, I looked to the government to help the working man. But they brought prosperity down at the armory, where arming for peace, me boys, between the wars. I kept the faith, and I kept voting, not for the iron fist, but for the helping hand. For theirs is a land with a wall around it, and mine is a faith in my fellow man. Theirs is a land of hope and glory, mine is the green field and the factory floor. Theirs are the skies all dark with bombers, and mine is the peace we knew between the wars. Call up the craftsman, bring me the draftsman, build me a path from cradle to grave, and I'll give my consent to any government that does not deny a man a living wage. Go find the young men, never to fight again. Bring up the banners from the days gone by. Sweet moderation, heart of this nation, desert us not.